Great. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be looking at how to bridge the content gap. Pretty much a content gap is the difference between what people are looking for and the content that they're finding. So the first part, we want to look at people and content. And this is understanding how people interact with content. Every Google search is a question. And this is important for marketers as well as business owners to understand because the only way that you can improve your online presence is if you deliver great content for people. And a content gap is when people can't find what they want. Therefore, there's a void in the market, and that's a great opportunity for you to adjust your marketing strategy and fulfill the needs of your audience. And this means that you need to match the needs of your audience and drive business goals. And this is where you start making money. Identifying a content gap isn't easy, but there are specific tools that we'll look at later and a specific process to help you with that. And there's really 4 points to identifying a content gap. First, you want to focus on the topic that you want to talk about. This means that you have to be very specific. So instead of talking about Nike shoes, it's better to talk about women's Nike shoes for running in the winter time. That's a very long tail keyword. And again, what that long tail keyword identifies is a specific need for your audience. And you can use tools to find out if there's women looking for Nike running shoes for the winter time. The second part is doing market research to understand your audience, and then keyword research to understand demand, and then competitive research to understand supply. So really it's a lot like basic economics, supply and demand. Market research is understanding your audience, the demand, and then with keywords, and that shows user intent, and then competitive research shows the current supply that's out there and understanding how your market and your competitors are working. So this is a visual just to really show what a content gap looks like. On the left-hand side, you can see people go to Bing and Google, other search engines to find content that they're searching for. Then on the right side is really the goal. That's where the content for people to find online, that's the competitive part. And what this shows is in the middle, if people search for something and they can't find that content online, that shows a great opportunity through a content gap. And if you can fill that content gap, you can make a lot of money. So the most important part of any content is the who. Everything revolves around your customers. Market research shows that a real person is behind each online search. That's very important, again, for marketers as well as business owners to realize. Sometimes we get stuck in the data and we forget that real people have real problems that we're trying to match. So how do you find out the needs of your audience? Well, you could use tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs to find kind of keyword research, which we'll talk about later, but there's other ways that you can do it as well. And these are really the best ways. You can use surveys to understand who your customers are, and you can also use quizzes to understand what their needs are. And if you identify their problem, then you can address their user intent, meaning, like we talked about before, female running shoes for the wintertime. We understand that that individual who searches for that is likely a female who likes to run and it's wintertime or she's preparing for that. Now there's other variables. It could be a husband or a friend that's looking for those. But again, that's where your ideal customer comes in, and also using surveys to understand what that segment might look like. The why. So customer questions fuel your business. And this comes through keyword research. People go to Google asking a question with a specific search term, phrase. So keywords are only data points, and that's very important for marketers as well as business owners to remember. And key phrases show intent. Again, female running shoes for winter shows a female, whether she's buying it or someone's buying it for her, is running and it's wintertime. Keyword research shows the demand of a topic. So higher demand means that there's more need or more need out there for that information. And then also you need to know what your audience is asking. So this is where it comes back with surveys and looking at third-party data like SEMrush and Ahrefs to find out what that need is. And then another component here is the where. Where are your customers finding answers? And this is competitive research. To really understand the content gap, again in that illustration that we had before, the right-hand side, you need to understand what's out there currently with your competitors. It's really hard to dive into an oversaturated niche, and it's going to cost a lot of time and money to tap into that. So the content gap is really great because you're able to find content opportunity that doesn't currently exist. So the current content that's out there is the supply, and as part of a content gap analysis, you want to review the quality and quantity of content that's out there, because the more quantity there is, the harder you're going to have to work, and the higher quality of that content that exists, the harder you're going to have to work. So it's really trying to find that seam, if you will, of the easiest way to get there. And then you want to focus content creation on content gaps. So again, understanding who you're writing for, what those people are searching for, and then what's currently existing content that's out there. Finding that difference is how you can find a content gap. And once you find that gap, you really want to focus in, and you really want to drive every content marketing perspective that you have towards finding that goal. So we talked a lot about the research tools. You can look at SEMrush, Ahrefs, local search, especially if you're a brick and mortar store. A great way to go about it is to look at anything that's in your city or your vicinity, really getting in contact with your community, and then also using the surveys and feedback. So we went over those the content gap in a little bit under 7 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can contact me at cg@strategybeam.com. Again, cg@strategybeam.com. Or you can leave a comment below, and I try my best to answer those. And I'll also be linking out to a lot of great resources that you can continue the journey and understanding and research of a content gap. So thanks a lot for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video and talking with you about how you can grow your small business or startup. And be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a lot, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks.